Welcome to the Principal Notes Podcast, a podcast dedicated to empowering leaders to elevate learning. This is a space for honest conversations, the conversations that are held behind closed doors, so we want to have that and bring it to the public so that we can make sure we elevate learning through empowering leaders. So I'm Hodge Womack, one of the co-founders of the Principal Note.
I'm Wardell Hunter, another co-founder.
Okay. All right, Wardell, and I'm Raquanda Epps Primus.
All right. And today, oh, yeah, absolutely. So today we're going to go ahead and jump right into it. Okay. Again, this podcast is about real conversations in education that rarely happen out loud. So let's just jump into it, y'all. So tell us, what was one moment in your career that you realized that something just got to change? Something just has to be fixed about this.
For me, I would say it was always moments. It wasn't one moment. It was several moments throughout my career. I started back in 2001 as a teacher, moving from Buffalo, New York to Atlanta, and I got the opportunity to learn about Southern education, meet great people, be mentored, be coached by excellent leaders in the game. But as a teacher, I knew it was always about helping students. And at the time, I remember being at Mays High School in Atlanta. It was about that graduation test and helping kids get over the hump, especially those who weren't successful on their first attempt. It was just something about helping those students who weren't successful in that first attempt get over the hump and see them come back upstairs from the cafeteria and just be happy, screaming because they passed the second time. Yeah, and they saw hope for their future. I always think about those moments, those experiences, seeing kids get those results and just being happy, crying, some people crying out of joy, but some people crying because they weren't successful. Yeah. But knowing that we have to help these kids make a difference in the Atlanta area, and it all started with making sure that they graduated.
Absolutely.
And from that moment on, I always wanted to see that smile on somebody's face after having success on those assessments.
Amen.
For me, it's always been a passion for me to make a difference, whether it's a teacher learning or a student. But I guess that moment was when I was an instructional coach, and I had to look at the teachers struggle with, am I doing the right thing? What am I doing differently? Or what can I do? At that moment, I had an aha, and that was all teachers should be teacher leaders. So therefore, I have committed as not just an instructional coach, but a teacher to go back into the lab. So I went from an instructional coach, went back into the classroom, and I call the classroom the lab. Mm-hmm. Why? Because I feel like that, just like you, Wardell, you love seeing how they smile, how they come back and look at you and be like, yes, I did it. It's that same energy with teachers who say, wow, had no idea that if you gave me that sauce, I could stir it and make it right. So that's me from coming from Marietta to Atlanta. I mean, from really going back from Texas to LA, from LA to Georgia. And now here, I'm ready. Jumpstart. Let's go.
I hear y'all, man. It's like you said, Hunter, I agree with you. It's a moment. It's several moments. But one of the moments that just came to mind when we started this conversation, it was just about I was just in my classroom, just doing what I thought was the best thing for kids, right? And then I stepped out to let me see what other people are doing. And I started hearing the some of the scores weren't all that. Like, what? I don't understand that as a concept. And it's always been that, let's be the best, let's be the best. And I was at Mays with Hunter when this happened. And I saw that they were coloring in AP World History. I'm like, what? You know what I'm saying? So that made me like, whoa, what's going on? And when I realized that what's going on in one classroom is not always happening in another classroom, but happening in another classroom may not be here. And they may be like, ooh, and we're having conversations like, which teacher we're gonna put this kid in? Oh, do you know the teacher I should have in this class? I'm like, what? Is that what's going on? You know what I'm saying? I didn't know that. We should be any teacher, any classroom, right? Should be the one that we as the insiders know and should be able to say, all of them are the top. And at that moment, I was like, what is up with that? And it provoked, why is that? And how can I make that better? That's what really made me think about this is the time that need to change.
I love it. I love it.
When you think about educators and the atmosphere that we're in now, politically, socially, academically, what do you think what are they quietly carrying?
I think about that.
I'm going to say we never know what they are carrying because it's so much. It's personal. It's professionally. It's, you have to think about, wow, why is there a burnout? Are there teachers who really don't know what to do, is just there? Or what is it that they need to help them get over that hump or be motivated or passionate or more passionate about what they're doing? What's your take on it? What else, or how's what you thinking?
For me, I'm thinking, what is the best way to reach the kids? What's the best way to reach the students? Where everything's fast paced right now. We have artificial intelligence. We have every tool, every resource you can possibly think of. But still, oftentimes in conversation, behind closed doors, we're still trying to figure out, are we really providing the resources, the support, the structure that these students need currently? Even though we have all these resources, even though we have all this technology, even though they have everything that they can never probably want as students, are we still making a difference?
Wow.
And sometimes I think all educators can't confidently say yes to that.
Man, you said something then, and you were talking about the burnout, and you talk about, and I was like, yo, and all it's like, to me, it's almost where we can't even articulate it. Like, and even like teachers can't sometimes articulate. I can't articulate it. It's like I just don't know what it is. It's like it's so many, like you said, I can't really put my finger on it. So for me, when I step back, and when you brought it, it made me step back a little and say, you know what? Maybe it's the system itself, and some components of the system is just not structured for us to be that successful. You know, maybe it's a certain how much time we're supposed to have. Everything is crunched in such a time where we got to teach X amount of standards in a short amount of time, and we got to have the test by such and such. Or we also are not focused on our business being humans, right? Everything is humans about our business. The students are humans. That's our product, right? Our consumer are humans, the parents, the community, and then our machinery, the lack of a better word, but in using this analogy here, metaphor, I should say, are humans. You know, our teachers are humans, and all of the things that come along with it. And our system doesn't allow, not system meaning a district in particular, but the way education is structured right now, it puts everything on a teacher. Everything. Without a single moment or break. It's not like as a doctor, what happens? You get to walk rounds, or you get paid a full salary, but you walk rounds, and there's a senior doctor that you just follow around for some years. Or in baseball, you get a whole preseason to get back in shape. You know what I'm saying? But we don't get that. So that's what and to be able to articulate that, I think is one, is hard, and then two, is just all of that pressure every single day. Because unlike any of these other professions, every single minute that we're at work matters so much.
Every minute.
Yes, every 2-3 generations. Go ahead.
And you know, That brings up a very valid point, SEL. Okay, so I am the SEL guru,
Yes, you
and
are.
I do know that you just said human. So mental wellness, being able to know that, well, first of all, if you have the principal that buy in, I'm a
Mm,
teacher now. So if the principal buys in to wait, hey, this teacher is human. Our
mhm,
students are human. Everything they say and what they do matter. And everybody understand those five competencies, from building relationships, responsible decision making,
mhm,
self-management. All of those competencies help us think about how we can be successful.
mhm,
Because if you're not mentally or have that mindset where you're ready to learn, or you're respected, or that child or that teacher or that administrator doesn't understand that you need that respect, then that's a whole nother episode.
mhm,
But what you just said, what you just said is powerful. It means a lot, because when we leave as teachers, as educators, and go home, then that's another realm to where if we have that SEL, then we know how to transition just a
absolutely,
little bit. And so
absolutely.
you get excited about it.
Mhm,
I know. Let me add this. I know for me and a lot of educators, we're trying to figure out, am I making a difference? And can I articulate that difference that I'm making, whatever it may be? I don't think anybody wakes up, I hope nobody wakes up in the morning that's walking into a school building or a central office building without thinking about, how am I going to make this student's life better? How am I going to make this school better? How am I going to make this district better?
mhm,
And at the end of the day, we want real evidence that really speaks to the difference that we're making in a person's life. And sometimes everyone is not fortunate enough to get someone to articulate that,
mhm, mhm.
and you have to be able to sometimes write it out yourself, or at least vision or speak of the difference that you're going to make today, tomorrow, next week, or for this particular year. And sometimes I'm not sure if every educator gets a chance to reflect and,
Mm.
and, and think about that difference that they can make or should be making or did make.
So
And
you say
well,
reflection. What does reflection look like? You know, that that's a large spectrum. What does that look like?
Sometimes it's wondering, sometimes it's dreaming, sometimes it's hoping, but sometimes you just have to sit there and say, what did I do today? Whose life is better because I stepped in to their life, or I gave them this feedback, or I gave them this opportunity, or I provided them this type of hope.
Mm.
And I think people want to know, and it contributes to us not burning out, because we see that the things that we're doing, there's a purpose, there's a reason, and someone is better because of it.
yeah,
Mm.
absolutely. Yeah, you said something earlier, Hunter, that I wanted to jump in on, and that's about that whole when you talk about seeing the school and making the school better, right? And initially, for me, it was all about, hey, making sure everybody is well and ready for going to college or whatever, right? Or passing some test. And then it changed when I started like, no, not it's not just that. Yes, it is that, but that's not the way to go about getting that achieving that goal, right? And it was
Mm.
not until that I was well into the business before I realized it or changed that perspective. But it's the problem where the structure, in my mind, is, where the structure doesn't allow us to even think in that way, right? Like, how many times is that one of the goals of the school or the target, right? How many times now? Yes, and even on the CCRPI, is like the last page of the report card, all the way at the bottom, that that
Mhm.
it talks
Yeah.
about versus the other way. I know the core business is student achievement, of course, but what does that look like and what does all of that entail? is something totally different. I forgot. I think MLK said something about we raising or teaching educated fools if we don't teach these other things like SEL and other things,
Wow.
character. So I'm saying that about students, but it's also about the adults. If we don't have that space, we're not promoting that, making the ground fertile for that, then we set this up for a continuous recurring cycle of some failure.
So that ties right into what my professor once said to me, and it was back and forth, and he kept asking. He said, "We empower students' voice, but not ownership of their thinking." I said, "So what do you mean by that?"
Mhm, mhm.
And so we went back and forth, and I said, "What do you mean? You mean challenging? We let them think. We give them opportunities to explain and help them change their mind." And I will never forget. He said that what's missing is students understanding their own learning process. So personalized learning has a lot to do with how students learn.
Mhm.
So then I said, well, students don't know that if teachers don't understand that, or you have teachers who are not willing to change their mindset. So personalized learning is that new, not AI, but that connect. It is the AI for the student because then they're able to personalize learning to where they want to learn. They want to make that connection. And it's an opportunity to close the gap.
Yo, so true. I mean, when you said personalized learning, different learning, that definitely is something that is carried and sometimes unbeknownst,
Mm-hmm.
unaware of that there are different perspectives, or that there's different learning styles. I mean, I know it's popular, at least amongst us, right?
Yeah.
That whole,
Uh-huh.
what's that, different love languages, right? I always say different
Yes.
love
Yes.
language.
Uh-huh.
So when is it that, how often do we have leaders saying at the beginning of the school year, for the teachers, the adults,
Uh-huh.
to do an analysis of themselves of what's their way of handling conflict, what's their way of, that team build, not just team building, meaning, oh, rah, rah,
Yeah.
rah, let's have a party, but do you understand yourself? Do you understand the person you're
Ooh,
working with and
powerful.
how you come off? You know, and that's a major gap, in my opinion, because I can rub you the wrong way, not knowing I'm rubbing you the wrong way. Think I'm out helping, but
Woo!
I'm
That's
stepping all over
happening.
your
Yeah.
toes. you know?
And we have to be able to stop and say, wow, you know, did I say something wrong? Are
Mm,
you okay?
mm,
Same way you have to do students.
absolutely.
Did I say something wrong? Are you okay? And then that allows you to actually focus not on the vision, but reality.
Mhm. Absolutely. And
Yes.
to see that in order to get that vision, to achieve that vision 5 years, whatever down the road,
Yes.
you got to
Yes.
deal with the reality like it is.
Reality.
It's not a separation. You got to deal with
Mhm.
this in order for this to actually occur. So you one, yes, sir, yes, ma'am.
That's it. That's it. Yeah.
So let me follow up with this one. What do you think is missing, y'all, in the
Mm.
in the development process or the support of us as educators? What's missing?
I think it's I think it's the coaching model.
Mm,
When I say coaching model, I'm thinking about new teachers when they come in or
mm,
veteran teachers. They need a structure or a space where they feel like they can trust to ask questions to build that relationship. I'm back on SEL again. But if those teachers understand a coaching cycle, when I say coaching cycle, I'm more so for student centered coaching, meaning that what is the student producing so you'll know how to improve what the student is doing. So then the teacher is challenged to figure out, okay, what strategies are needed, and the principal begins to, have a purpose. It gives them potential, and then it's like a cycle. Everybody gets
mm,
excited,
mm,
and you like, okay, the administrators on board, the instructional coaches on board, and then the teachers are coaches. You call them teacher leaders. We're not teachers, we're teacher leaders.
mm.
And then you create this whole cycle where everybody is able to facilitate leadership It even flows into the classroom. If you are a teacher leader, then those students are teacher leaders. They know how to embrace, and leadership is embedded in instruction and when you speak, and they are filled with that emotion as well.
Should we ever leave SEL, y'all? We should. It should be. And it gotta be. We're humans. This whole business is human, so we gotta be on that SEL. Gotta keep it coming. Never leave it.
Yes. I know. Sorry, I'm the SEL liaison. That's all I know. That's how I teach. Oh my gosh.
We can't hear you, man. I thought you were trying to say something. What were you saying?
Oh, I just wanted to add something to it. I think what's missing more than anything is implementation.
Woo, boy. Say it
we
again.
know we have the stuff.
Wait, say it again. Say that
we
word
have the stuff, right? We have the knowledge, we have the resources, we have the information. I think how we implement and follow through and readjust and then do the same thing again. Going back to that coaching cycle.
Woo.
Culture
of learning.
It's a circle. But in every building is at a different place in the circle. Because every building has different levels of implementation. I think there's more time needs to be spent on those things before we move to the next thing.
Wow.
Because we have the resources, we have the information, we have the knowledge.
Yep.
And it is not much different than 2001 when I walked in to Mays High School in terms of the things that are available. I think it boils down to implementation.
Absolutely. Implementation.
I love it.
And that's where the success and the failure lies, in the implementation. You're so right. We can all have the same toolkit. If I implement it from one thing and you implement it from another, we get three different outcomes. So you're 100% right. Implementation. Sure.
I love it. That's the word I told him to say again. That's what I'm talking about.
That's right. Implementation. And that's what we're here at trying to do, is to make sure that so it can be on a better playing field. So I 100%, like, I came in it implementing it in a totally wrong way. I was solely focused on student achievement versus relationships and systems, So that implementation, some people were, at the time in Atlanta Public Schools, at least, we were focusing on instruction, all just totally, instruction, but we didn't have, maybe I shouldn't say the doggone district name, but anyway, in some districts, that's what we were focused on. So, but guess what? Bottom line is this: hey, we are in need of fixing that implementation, yo. Got to.
Yes. That's the sauce.
What'd you say, Hunter? You were saying? I thought you said something. Oh, okay.
Yes, that's the sauce.
Amen.
So, Hunter, I have a question. You were saying implementation. If you had to do a pitch and tell someone that that's what needs to happen and sell it, what would that sound like? What would your pitch be?
I'm glad she asked you that question first.
It's simple. It's not complicated.
Okay, go ahead.
It'll be, let's do it. Let's go.
Okay.
We have the tools. It'll be simple things.
Simple.
Give me some simple ones.
I just gave you 3. Let's go. Let's do it. We have the tools.
Check that. Let's go. Right. Let's do it. We got the tools.
Yes.
And I would say this. I will add this too.
Okay.
With implementation, why can't we?
Woo!
What's stopping us? Why can't we do it?
You on TV now? Commercial? Yeah. Come on now.
Why can't we do it? What's stopping us?
Take that down. Come on, we're gonna sell that. Go ahead.
What do you need?
What do you need?
get all those barriers out the way for them,
Mm-hmm.
and you'll see
Haj, did you
results.
write that
I think you'll
down?
get
Did
your
you write
results.
down did you write it down, Haj?
I wrote, why can't we? I wrote it down real quick. I'm like, hold on.
Yeah.
Why can't we? And get rid of those barriers.
Yes, why can't we? That's it right there.
That's
That's
it.
it. Why can't we get rid of those barriers? Let's go.
Why can't we?
Why
Yes.
can't we get rid of those barriers? Let's
Mm-hmm.
go.
Let's do
Woo!
it. We got the tools.
Stay tuned. Stay tuned for more.
so, so you're at that. I'm glad you didn't ask me that question. Good. You good? Ask me a different one. I don't know.
I know, right?
I want to come back by that one.
Yes. How'd you make sure you wrote that down, please? That
Got
was
it. You know I got my
priceless.
notes. You know I take my notes.
Yes. Why can't we?
Absolutely right on that.
I love it. Love it. Yes, indeed.
So Epps, talk to us about what's up with this whole podcast. What is this thing for you? What is it that you felt that this is important? I'm saying you, Epps, Hunter, both of us, all of us would take the opportunity. What for you make this so important for us to have?
Well, I mean, from the beginning, when you said something about empowering leaders to elevate learning, man, that's peach cobbler and ice cream. You understand me? Peach cobbler and ice cream with a why?
Mm-hmm.
Because
Good crust too.
I'm focused on coaching. That's my ministry. Is to coach, to lead, to build. And if I'm going to do that, it's all about elevating others. And specifically children, but more so adults, because that's who's leading our children.
Mm-hmm.
So if we coach to improve students, we can't do nothing but coach to improve adults. So that's my spiel. Elevate, peach cobbler, ice cream.
Yes, we got to use that one now. I agree with you with the good crust. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. I would say it's about people, putting people first, putting students first,
Yes.
sharing ideas,
Mm.
sharing successes, uplifting districts and school buildings and teachers, educators, making people proud and excited about the work, the joy of helping kids learn, the joy of helping teachers improve, the joy of creating effective leaders, and really impacting the city, the state, the country
Mm.
in a big way.
Yes.
Absolutely.
With the voices that'll be on here,
Mm-hmm.
with the questions that'll be asked, and the impact I think that will come as a result, the impact that we'll make as we empower.
Boy,
Absolutely.
that sounds like a powerhouse. Did you just say powerhouse? What?
Say it again.
Powerhouse. What?
So the whole for me, I wanted us to, and the Principal Note podcast, to empower leaders for sure and elevate learning, absolutely. And I love what you said, about coaching as a ministry. I love that. I think that's my ministry too. I think because
Mm-hmm.
my mom was a teacher, my sister a teacher, my brother-in-law a teacher, my wife's a teacher,
Wow.
my mother, my grandmother was a
The
teacher.
whole family, mine
Yeah, they
too.
all was teachers, right? So it just, it's on me. So I believe that as a ministry. I really believe that's my ultimate calling, right? And at the same time, it in my whole all my education career, I've been teaching and working, leading in a predominantly Black or minority district of color, right? And for me as a historian, I thought of, that's my love. That's one of the things I would do for free, is just to how do we move our people forward? And not just
Mm.
African Americans, but any person that's been on the bottom rung, right? How do we get them forward? And yes, technology is something, but not just consumers of technology, but producers of technology. But fundamentally, in my opinion, is education.
Mm.
Fundamentally is education. Not just education to go to college, but to trade, do a trade, whatever it is, you have to learn it. None of us were born that way. We were born human. We weren't born anything else. We weren't born a doctor, student, lawyer, football player. We weren't born any of those things. We had to learn those things. But how can we learn? How best do you learn? How best do I teach? What's the gap in between the way I learn and the way I teach in comparison to what you do? And I wanted us as a podcast to have those conversations with people so that we can elevate, not yes, elevate learning, but by extension, elevate the entire race, elevate everybody who's ever experienced that bottom rung of life in a capitalist class society or what have you. How can we elevate them? That's why I think podcast here is there is here. The other thing that I wanted to say is that I felt a gap between what I learned sometimes and then what the real world of a school was, right? And
Ooh,
it took me
preach.
time to learn that. But all along the way, I wasn't optimal, which means that I wasn't the best for kids. That means,
Mm.
oh, I'm better this year than last year. Yeah, that's true. But what happened to those kids that I wasn't not my best at? And how could I have learned this that I know now earlier so I wouldn't mess up as much? I'm still mess up. I'm human. But how could I prevent some of that? And that's what what I wanted us, the podcast, the Principal Note podcast, the Principal Note program, period, to be about. How can we empower people earlier, faster, so they can do better faster? And therefore, as they learn and do better faster, guess what our kids automatically do?
Mm. So that's implementation for the next generation.
Hmm.
What?
Hmm.
Implementation for the next generation. He talked
Wow.
about implementation.
Yes, we did.
You're talking about the next generation. What we're presenting here is for the next generation to plant those seeds so they'll grow.
Absolutely.
It's as simple as when we're coaching. You know, you both have been administrators, have been in administrative position. And as a principal, sometimes it makes me wonder, do the principals are we coaching teachers to follow a model or to make instructional decisions?
Hmm.
What do teachers do in our school when students don't understand in the middle of a lesson? What are we doing to embrace that? That's what you're saying. You're saying, look, we got to teach. We got to mess with that. We got to make sure that cognition is right.
Hmm.
Even when we do walkthroughs, the tools, are we measuring engagement or are we measuring cognition? So if teachers improve the evaluation scores, but the students are learning did not change, what are we doing here? What are we doing?
Educational malpractice.
There you go.
Yeah, I want to go back to one of the original questions about what is this about, and I want to land on getting this game ready for the next set of people. Year 26 for me is only a couple left. Year 25 for you, Walmart.
25 for me.
25 for you.
Mm-hmm.
Mm,
What about you?
33.
All right.
Go girl.
I think it will be malpractice if we don't begin to turn this over, turn the work that we've been doing for years over
Mm,
to the new teachers that are in their first through 5 years of the game,
Mm.
and they're going to be better than us. They should be better than us.
They should
they
be.
will be.
They
They
should
will
We,
be.
be.
they will be better than us.
By coming here,
because
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Right here. Come on.
because I think more is laid out for them than it was when we came,
Yeah,
when we were coming through.
but isn't that part of the problem where it becomes like a model versus you're able to make instructional decisions because of our lack? We had
Mm-hmm.
to learn and do and think. Whereas if everything's laid out, do I have to really think? Am I capable to make that instructional decision? And it's just a thought.
I think no, just because something laid out doesn't mean you have to do it that way.
Yeah, but do you know really what to do next if you don't have something laid out for you?
Correct.
Yeah.
You have something to pick. You have something to pick at. You have something to model after.
Mm-hmm.
You have something to judge against. But at the end of the day, that's what it's about.
Yeah, you're
It's
right.
about it's about getting it ready for them to take over.
Absolutely. And that's a painstaking, and for me, and this, I'm gonna get a little personal on it.
It's the bench. It's building the bench.
Absolutely. Are we? And like, are we doing it effectively? Could we do it better? Because there's so many things I had to learn on my own as a teacher, as an educator, but then also as a human, because that institutional, I didn't have that institutional knowledge or institutional memory, historical memory from, like, say, you, Hunter, to say, hey, this is how to do it. You know what I mean? Or I was living through trial and error and experience. That, at least me. I don't can't speak for everybody else, but for me, I didn't have that vision, a plan of where I was going to be 3, 4, 5 years down the road in education. I was just happy teaching history. Somebody had to persuade me to be like, think about that administration. I was just like, I'm good here. And then I
Yeah.
fumbled into that, and bumbled into it. And I think that's what you said earlier. That's where we need that memory to be able to turn it over.
Yeah. I always had a. I think I always had my eye on it. I always watched people.
Mm.
I in particular, my department chairperson when I first started working, because they ran. Back in the day, department chairperson ran the school, and they were our first leaders. Honestly, that we really looked at and admired and wanted to be like,
Yeah.
because Miss Gay, for example, Miss Gay, Martha Gay,
Mm-hmm.
they ran it. And then as you get into that and you learn their experiences and see how they do things, you begin to look at, oh, there's other parts. There's other people
Mm-hmm.
that's part of this bigger picture. But I think I always kept my eye on people and saw and watched what they were doing.
I wish I had that.
And, and wanted to mimic them in some cases and wanted to be by their side in some cases. And I think we need more of that. We need more models and more examples.
And they need to
But
be institutionalized, though. Can't be by a
Yeah.
happen thing. Go ahead.
I agree. I agree. And I didn't know I was a leader. I knew I was a leader, but I didn't know I was a leader to where I had the ability to use my gift to teach adults. I knew I could teach children, but then that's when I was introduced or given these responsibilities that were preparing me to be a leader. Um, so I was quiet. I know I'm a talker, but I was quiet. I was more so, I would sit back, look at what needs to be done, and then I would just do it. And then if someone asked me what to do, you know, I would show them. And at that point, when I came to APS, I was given that opportunity, starting with my first principal, which was Hodge Womack. Hodge Womack gave me an opportunity to come in as a sub. And I demonstrated that I could work at the after school program. I could do a wax museum. I was a science teacher.
Yes.
I I I could do all of this, but that's where I knew how to take those instructional decisions and do it for that child. But I wasn't taught that. I just did it. And that came from my mother. She was a teacher and she gave that to me. And she told me, your purpose is has to be intentional. So when you do something, you do right by it. whatever it is. So I like what you said, Wardell, about, people come and they embraced you and gave you that. And so I must give shout outs to people like Hodge Womack, who was my first principal in APS, and then going on to Tim Jones. He was my principal in Marietta. But both of them, as well as Evelyn Mobley, oh my God, I could go down the list. But these people were able to take my hand and not hold my hand, but tell me to come here, come on, I got something for you, and let you do what you do.
Absolutely.
So that's what we do. That's what this is.
Absolutely.
Come here, let me tell you something. I got something for you.
Let me tell you something. I got something
Let me
for
tell you
you.
something. I got something for you.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah,
Yes. Let me tell you something. I remember that on what's that? In Living Color.
yeah.
But so
Yeah.
with that said, y'all, who do you hope find this podcast out? Who do you hope and how do you hope that they feel once they hear it?
Mm.
You know,
Empowered. What'd you say, Wardell?
go ahead. I'll go after you.
Oh, no. I just said empowered.
Oh, I'm always for the aspirant. I'm all about the bench and who is going to be the next people in charge and who's getting ready. And I think I spent the last 10, 15 years of my career focusing on that. Like who's next in line, who's next up, what do they need, what do they need to know, what practices do they need, and how do we help them. I'm gonna say the aspirant. Whether you're aspiring to the school leader, whether you're aspiring to the district office leader, in whatever position that is.
Got it.
Well, if that's who you're going to be, then I'm going to be hope. I'm going to give them the hope after you aspire them to hear what we have to say.
Word. So you want them to aspire and hope. Uh, for me, it's for any person that's trying to do best by kids, do right by kids.
Mm.
That's what I want to hear. And especially that person who's trying to do right by kids and just like sometimes feels frustrated because they know they did it one way but could have done it better, or some other frustration, whatever that frustration may be. And wish they could have done it or learned it a little faster or better because they strive to improve. That's that person that I would love to come here and that they would come here and say, I found it. I got it now.
Mm.
I don't have to read 1,000 books. I can come to principal note. I don't have to go and get 57, 78 different degrees. Not that you don't need it, don't get it, but you don't have to. I can come to the principal note and guide it. They can learn SEL. They can learn things that they've never seen. They may not have a mentor. They may be in a school that whatever, the culture is not all that. Come to the principal. Maybe not feeling growth, come to the principal note. That's what I want, and that's how I want them to feel.
I love it. What's your one word? His was an
Oh,
aspirant. I want to give hope. And what's yours?
good one. Empowered.
Empowered.
Well,
I like
everybody, look. Oh, go ahead. Primus, did I miss something? Yeah. Well, everyone, hey, we just thank you for just listening, taking the time, y'all. The thing is, if you like anything, if anything resonated with you right here, this is how we do at the Principal Note podcast. You're just gonna get more and more and more. This is just how we do. And if anything resonated, please just stay with us. These conversations are just beginning. Thank y'all. And hey, the Principal Note is here for you to empower leaders to elevate learning.